everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha Leighanne and I talk about books. So the point of this video today is to talk about one of the challenges I'm participating in 2017, and that is the Retro Rereads Challenge. So I will link all of the information in the down bar below, but this challenge was created by someone at bookriot.com, and pretty much what it is a challenge where you pick 12 books, one for each month of the year, that you are going to reread. So it's a really good opportunity for you to sort of revisit the books that you've been wanting to revisit without dedicating too much time on your ever-growing TBR list. So today I'm going to be talking about my list of my 12 books that I am going to be using for this challenge. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get started. These are in no particular order, and I'm really just going to kind of pick them up whenever I feel like picking them up, but the goal is to read one of these for each month of the year. So all right, let's get started. Number one is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey. I read this in high school. It's been a really long time since I've read it, but one of the channels that I frequent, Game of Tomes, hi guys, just recently read this and had a good discussion on it. So I decided that this was going to be added to my list. Not to mention that I included Nurse Ratched in my favorite villains for a top 5 Wednesday, which prompted me to really kind of want to read the book again. So there's that. The next book on this list is Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I do not have a physical copy of this book. The copy that I read was my mother's from a long time ago, so I do need to procure another copy for myself. When I read it the first time in my life, I really don't feel like I got everything that I wanted to get out of it, which is why I decided to include that on this list. Number 3 is another book that I don't have a physical copy of. It is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. And I loved that book in high school, and it was so sad, and I loved it so much. But again, I read it in high school, and I obviously know the main storyline, but I really would like to revisit it just because I remember loving it so much, and I hope that it will continue to hold up to that, me continuing to love it. So next book on this list is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This was another book that I read in high school, maybe early college, I don't remember. I did a paper on it and I really enjoyed it. I've loved every single movie adaptation I've ever seen of this, and I really want to revisit this, and it's been so many years since I've read this that I really do want to revisit it, just to you get different things out of different books at different times in your life, and that's one of the reasons that I want to revisit this. And also just because this is one of the classics that I really enjoyed. And another, oh, I completely forgot to talk about that in another video. Shit, completely forgot to talk about it in another video. Another thing that I'm trying to do is really kind of reread classics, and that's a lot of what this list is a lot of classic books that I've read and just feel like I need to revisit to really get everything out of them. So hence why this is on there. Next one is yet another book that I don't have a physical copy of. I do have this in ebook format, but it is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I have read, I think, one Jane Austen ever, and I read Pride and Prejudice, and I remember not liking it very much, and I think that it was the language, and I also think that it was just because I made myself read it. It wasn't what I wanted to read at the time. So I feel like if I wait and really read it whenever I want to pick it up, then I'm gonna appreciate it a lot more than I did the first time around. So I also have really enjoyed the movie adaptation, so I'm kind of like hoping that I'll enjoy it more. So, and the next book on my list is Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. I do have a physical copy of this, but I don't know where it is. I'm hoping that I didn't lend it out, because if I lent it out, I'll never see it again. But I remember reading this and really hating it. I don't recall why I really hated it. I just know that whenever I've looked at that book, I've been like, So for that reason, I kind of wanted to revisit it and just read it again, and hopefully it's not as bad as I originally thought that it was, but we'll kind of see what happens with that. Also just because I'm a really big horror fan, and I want to appreciate that book because pretty much everybody else that I know that's read it has really enjoyed it, so maybe I'm just missing something, so I want to revisit it and just see what I'm missing. Next book on my list is Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I mentioned this in my top 5 Wednesday books that I want to revisit. I will link that below just in case you're interested, even though I'm pretty sure all the books on that are also in this list. But Anywho, same reason as most of the other ones, is a classic. I read it a million years ago. I remember the storyline, but don't remember much else. I feel like as I have become a better reader that I will more appreciate this in the second read through. So that is why it is included. Next one on my list is Things Fall Apart by, that person, Chinua Achebe. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad at names. This is another book that I read in high school, and I loved it in high school. I do remember that, really loving it. And in the interest of reading more diversely this year, this really kind of satisfies two of the things that I want to do, and that's read classic books and read more diversely. So that is why I have included that on this list. Next book on my list is Abarat by Clive Barker. I did actually include Christopher Carrion and Mater Motley in my favorite villains Top 5 Wednesday that I recently did. And I think that that's really what kind of made me want to reread this series. And also the world building in it. I binge read this series whenever I got it because the third book had just come out and I really loved it. And I've kind of really been into fantasy lately, so I at least want to reread the first. I'm not saying that I'm going to reread the whole series, but I definitely want to at least reread the first book in this series. So the next book that I have is, oh no, this copy of this book is so well loved. The Stand. I need a new copy of this, you guys. I take donations. Anyway, so The Stand. This is such a tome, and it took me so long to read it that I feel like the amount of time that it took me to read it, I kind of, you don't see everything your first read through because it is giant. That is why I want to reread it, because it's huge and because I loved the original story. Several of my favorite quotes that of all time are from this particular book, and I think that there's just a lot to learn in terms of like dealing with people and things of that nature from this book. So that is one of the reasons that I wanted to include this. And the last two books in this list are Shakespeare, Othello and Macbeth. I read these in high school, and I use air quotes because I'm pretty sure that I read them and took all the tests without actually reading them. Pretty sure that's how I operated that year. So there's that. Anyway, like I know the main story points and things like that, but I really want to, go back in and read those and really appreciate them in the way that most other people do. And maybe I'll reread them and hate them. Like, I don't know. Because again, like I know the main story points, but I don't remember the actual reading of it and like the language and things like that. So I might read these and I might hate them. We'll see. We'll see whenever I do wrap-ups at the end of the month when I decide to pick these up. But the good thing is that these are fairly short, so they won't take me very long to read. And yes, so that's why I included these. So those are the 12 books that I have included for my list for retro rereads. Like I said, all the information will be listed in the down bar for you to participate in this challenge if you so desire. Comment down below and let me know if you are interested in doing this challenge, and if you are already doing the challenge, if you've posted your list anywhere, or if you've read any of these books and love them. I would love to talk to you about them, or even if you hate them, I would love to talk to you about them. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!